Absolutely, and so does my wife, and don't forget that.
Yep, she's just excited as anything right here.
Row number 1 on the inside will go the 75 of Kenneth Hartshorn. Kenneth out of Evans Mills. On the outside will go the number 2 of Pete Stefanski. Pete out of Wheatfield, New York. The next row on the inside will go the X15 of Tyler Bushey. Tyler out of Hubleton. And up on the outside, the 12S of Dakota Sharp. Dakota Sharp in the 12S. Next in line, third row on the inside, scheduled to go the 1X of Connor White. And in that final starting spot, the number 9, and we'll get a driver to you as we can because there's been a couple of them on that car. Green flag is out, we're off and running. And Hartshorn up in front with that lead with Bushey back there in second. Stefanski still running third. And Bushey tries down on the inside of Hartshorn. Hartshorn decides to take the high road out there. Stefanski thinking about going down the middle there. And Stefanski will take over the number 2 qualifying spot. Bushey to the high side of the Speedway. He'll drop back to third. Dakota Sharp in that new 12S Dirt Car Pro Stock up to third, but Bushey will have none of that and tries to take back that number 3 qualifying spot. Side by side for first out there. The veteran Stefanski down on the inside trying to take away that top spot from Kenneth Hartshorn. Hartshorn continues to hold on to the number 1 qualifying spot. Stefanski still in the number 2 slot, but he wants to go up to first. Can't quite get through on the inside, as it's still the 75 of Hartshorn in front. Stefanski still sits there in second. Bushey on the high side of the Speedway, trying to maintain that third qualifying spot, staying up high. Dakota Sharp back there in fourth. They come off the straightaway. Mike Leclerc gives them the halfway sign. We're halfway through this one. It's still Hartshorn in front in the 75 out of Evans Mills. Veteran Pete Stefanski out of Wheatfield rides back there in second. Bushey is back in third. Then comes the 12 of Dakota Sharp. Off the turn they come to complete lap number 5. And it's still Hartshorn up in front in the 75. Stefanski on the low side. Pete trying to get down underneath, but Ken is getting a nice bite up on the top side of that racetrack and continues to hold on to the number 1 qualifying spot. Pete takes a look down low. Stefanski may have him this time. Not quite. With 2 to go. And Stefanski holds on to that bottom part of the racetrack. He'll be successful this time. And Stefanski will take over the number 1 qualifying spot. White flag is out. Oh my! And Dakota Sharp on the high spot of the high side of the Speedway rolls it over up there. Safety truck's going out to check out Dakota. Wow! I don't know whether he had a tire go down or what it was, but he just got catapulted up in the air.
Yeah, the car got loose on him over there going into turn 3 and 4, and it hooked that berm up there in that outside lane, and it's not a bad, it's a fair-sized berm up over there in turn 3 and 4, and Dakota hooked that, and it looked like a pretty tough rollover, even though it was only once over, but it was still pretty hard hit.
Yeah, you have to wonder if he had a tire going down on the right rear or something, and when the car caught up on the top of that berm, it dug right in.
Yeah,
and
really
when it did, that catapulted him up in the air.
Yes, absolutely. And hopefully Dakota is okay. Him and Tyler Bushey and a bunch of the crews, they got together and put this race car together. They've been working on this car basically nearly the entire season. So I've seen Dakota here in a different race car, and that was a car he took to Cornwall and various open street stock features as well as brand new race car for him. And hopefully it's not hurt too bad, and maybe he can come back for the 20-lapper later on.
No, this is a key night for him out there, and I'm sure that we're all hoping there's no problems and he's all right. But the next thing for him will be to get that car into the pits and make sure that he gets into that feature as close as the point standings are right now, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's got he's got a good buddy with Tyler Bushey and their crew right alongside. Of course, Tyler's dad Roger, Frank Bice, and all those veteran former pure stock drivers will be right in there, elbows deep, trying to get that car back together for Dakota. Of course, Tyler works for Dakota, so maybe you score a little extra brownie points getting that car together for Dakota, which he already has, by the way. But hopefully Dakota's all right. We'll wait for word trackside, though.
Yeah, that's the main part of this thing, is to make sure that he's all right before anything else. We're waiting for something trackside to pass that, and we'll pass it along to you, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as we know. But I'm sure if he's out of that car right now, the first thing he's doing is looking it over and making sure that they can get that thing back together again.
That's absolutely it. And Dakota, 4 wins already this season. And we're trackside. Dakota Sharp is all right over there. So let's give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen. That was a tough hit, Jamie. And we've seen a lot of them over the years at many different racetracks. And unfortunately, it's just another one to add to the list, sadly. But good thing he's all right, though. And they can get the car fixed. I know Kyle will be over there, too, wrenching away on that car.
Yeah, it'll be all hands on deck. You can bet that. Even, wherever you're parked. That's the one good thing about racing. You may have a rival out there, but when something like that happens, it's all hands on deck. You probably got 3 crews from different cars that are parked near them working on that car to get it back out there again. Yeah,
absolutely. And, it doesn't matter. Even sometimes the low buck weekend guys help out some of the big name drivers, too. I remember reading in Bob McCready's book, he talked about a driver that, was a well-known weekend racer, had to come up and borrow a U-joint from him. He didn't think much of it, so he let him borrow a U-joint. He says, I got a box in the mail like 2 days later. In it was the used U-joint, and next to it was a brand new one. So can't beat that at all. Yeah.
Well, Dakota, the best part is that he's all right and out of the race car. And one of the things that bothers drivers more than anything else and their crews is to have something like this go wrong in a heat race when you absolutely need it for a feature goal, and that's the last thing you want to happen is something like this.
That is true, and like I said, hopefully it's repairable, and whatever they can do to get that car fixed, they're going to do their best to get it out here and challenge for another feature win. Of course, Dakota, he's on a bit of a win streak here, Jamie. He's won the last 4 in a row that he has, he's actually won the last 3 in a row that he's competed, and he's only competed 4 times here, and every time he's been here, he's been to victory lane.
Yeah, this is a great bunch that has got that car out there. We saw a story last night up at Mohawk that was great. Zach Daniels was in a terrible accident on the backstretch there the previous week. He flipped his car over 3 or 4 times. It was a terrible accident. There were 2 that flipped at the same time. And last night he was back again. It was unbelievable to see what these crews can do during a week. It's just unreal.
Zach Daniels, of course, runs a pro stock in Mohawk, and then he goes up to Airborne on Saturday nights and runs with the Renegade division, which is the old super stock class. He's got all that at his disposal. He had a dirt car sportsman at one point. Zach can wheel a race car, that's for sure. I think he won last night, did he not?
Yes. It was just amazing. I was blown away by what the job that entailed to get that car back out there and get it to win. So we take a look at Dakota tonight. I think the same thing's going to happen out there. I just have that feeling. You
never know. And, of course, Pete Stefanski, obviously he is the heavy favorite, being the, the veteran driver, 4-time series champion, 2-time Super Dirt Week champion on the mile. He's done it all in pro stocks. But he's never won a championship here at Can-Am, and that would be just icing on the cake for his career. But Dakota trying to deny him.
Well, he is the pride of Western New York and pro stock racing. And it's great to have a veteran campaigner who is so well known running in the pro stock division here at Can-Am. That's what I mean. You got a lot of great names and great up-and-coming talent. It's incredible. Watch that sportsman division. We're going to see some modified guys come out of there that are going to light things on fire.
Absolutely. You got Tyler Corcoran, you got Gavin Isley. I know Mike Fowler, if he could go to modified racing, he would probably do it too. And, you know, you got just, there's so many, like you said, the talent pool is so deep in there. Tyler Stevenson's another guy that could go up there and be a modified driver. Eric Nyer, as I know that he has aspirations of going that route.
The Moore boys, they
Brennan and Dylan
really did nothing but get better all year.
Dylan Moore won 7 races so far this year, and he's not done yet. He has a good shot at winning number 8 here tonight, so we'll see what happens. As looks like we're going back under caution in just a moment. Okay. So, just allowing these 2 drivers to get to the back of the pack, I guess.
Still working on the car over there. You have to remember that when the car digs in like that, and Tim, you know this because you were out on the racetrack.
Yep.
When that digs in like that, that could twist that rear end around no matter what happens. And hopefully it's not anything major like a broken axle or anything that's going to take long to fix. And hopefully when they put the car back down after it flips over, that there's no more damage done doing that too. Yeah. But our crews here are very careful of that. They know that.
Yeah, and you've seen in many racetracks. They've got a lot of great crews over the years, and these drivers, they want to take as much time as they can, and don't want to do any more damage to any of these cars than what's already been done. So we'll do the best we can. I know I've been at some racetracks where they grab one end of a car and go 3, 2, 1 pull. That's not what we do here at Can-Am. So
I'm glad they got it back on all 4s there, and Dakota is okay. Now comes the part that where I see something that I really don't like seeing down there, is to see it cradled off, and that is not a good sign, because that means there is both front end and rear damage on the car, and suspension issues and everything. I do not like to see a car cradled off like that, Tim. That is not good.
No, that is no good whatsoever. When that happens, it's usually something pretty serious. So they're really going to take their time getting this car back to the pits.
Yeah.
But man, my goodness, I know as much as Pete Stefanski wants to win a race in the track championship, this is really not how you want to do it. I mean, it's just not not the way you want to do it, but we'll see. Like I said, there's a lot of people down there that are more than happy to help Dakota get that car back together, Pete included. So,
yeah, you would think that, you know, when you got a lead and you see something like this, you don't, you know, you hope the driver's okay and everything, but you would think that they would say, oh, good, now this will make it really much easier for me. That is not the case, especially with Pete Stefanski. He would rather be out there and going right down to the last lap to decide it.
Definitely. Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that one for sure. As we see the 12 of Dakota Sharp, hopefully their Track Digest television, you folks at home are seeing this also.
There's what I feared the most right there, is you can see the rear end of the car hanging down, and that is one thing that I did not want to see, and I wondered if that might happen when he caught and flipped up, and there it is.
That's just it.
That's what I was feared for most. That
is true. So, but hopefully, like I said, they got a lot of star power down there in the pits, are able to get that car back together. And
we just saw something else. It just dropped off the car there over on the right-hand side. I don't know what that was.
Might have been a hood or a body panel of some sort set her off. Drivers being told on the one-way to keep the cars down to the inside portion of the racetrack so they're not in the way of the safety crews trying to get that car back.
You know, as long as we've been calling races and as long as we've been in this,
yes,
you just feel for everybody on that team. They work all week and work so hard, and especially with where they are in the points. And then this, it just lets the wind right out of your sails.
It really does. It kicks you right between the legs, that's for sure.
Oh, big time.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a tough thing to have to go through, and like you mentioned, everybody out here makes sacrifices, and there's a handful that do it as their full-time occupation. So they get up in the morning and they work all day on their car, and spend time with the families and do whatever. Some of these guys work full-time jobs right till 5 o'clock, maybe have a light snack or something. Then it's another 5-6 hours in the garage.
Yeah, and my nephew does that. Exactly.
Yes, he does.
That's exactly what he does, and it's just, eventually it takes its toll on you, and when you are at the end of the season, some of them have had just about enough, and when you get something like this, you want to cash in your chips for the season, but the best thing for you to do is get right back on that horse and ride it.
That's exactly it. And speaking of which, looks like white flag's going to come out this time by Jamie. We are going to settle this one. 2 laps left to go. Can Kenny Hartshorn hold off the veteran, or will Tyler Bushey come through and maybe steal one here?
It should be interesting, Tim. They've had quite a battle in this race up in the front. A lot of side-by-side action. Pete has tried to go to the inside part of that racetrack, but Kenny's getting a real nice bite coming out of 2. Not as much out of 4, but boy, does he ever get it coming out of 2. So this should go right down to the wire in the finish of this qualifying heat number 1 for the Fabco Dirt Car Pro Stocks. Mike looks him over coming off the turn. He says, "You look really good." And away we go. And Hartshorn maintains that lead out there. Stefanski stays right on the back bumper. Bushey back there in 3rd. And the 3 of them down the back stretch together. And it is still Hartshorn up in front, and Stefanski takes a peek out there but can't quite get underneath him. White flag is out. Hartshorn in that number 75 trying to hold off the wily veteran sitting there in the number 2 spot. Stefanski takes a look on the inside here, and this is the place where he seems to do pretty well as Hartshorn coming around 3 and 4. And Kenny gets a good bite this time coming out of 4. Checkered flag is out. And Stefanski will win it. Bushey will get the number 3 spot. The 9 cars around up in the number 4 turn. And then comes the